So, hi, this is Matt Donegan at Business Spotlight. I'm here with Pratik. Pratik, can you let us know who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please?
Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me at the interview. I'm a director of Birdfynn Accountants Limited. I'm also director of BizPulse Limited. We started in 2015. Originally, I was doing mixed tax planning and specialized in R&D tax credits. But 2.5 years ago, we decided to also extend our services to normal compliance and financial management advisory with, for startups and medium-sized companies to grow or scale and be there. It's like a virtual CFO because we saw a very serious demand and requirement in the market. So yeah, we do tax plus financial advice, i.e. accounting and everything. And obviously alongside, we also provide compliance services like VAT, bookkeeping, PAYE, etc.
Okay, so what made you start the business in the first place? Had you been in the industry for a long time?
Yes, I qualified AAT back in 2006. Then I got my first accounting job. Then I worked for the companies till 2015. I also got qualified ACCA. And then I had 3 different jobs, one for 7 years, then about 3 years, and then 1.5 years. And what I felt is there is something extra I can deliver, which wasn't possible for me to do if I was an employee. There was, I think I learned a lot, and I saw that there is a huge opportunity for me to add value in a different level, which is not, completely commercial. There is a more personal approach and kind of, work more with the client, work more closely with them. And hence I started, my first business, the BizPulse Limited, which was tax planning company.
So a lot of business owners would have had the experience of working with an accountant as being retrospective. It's looking at the figures that have happened in the past.
Yes.
The huge value in financial reporting is looking what's happening in the present and in the future.
Yes.
Do you believe that your role as acting as a CFO for those businesses provides them with that transparency that otherwise they'd lack?
Yes, and I think the majority of my role has been educating the clients what's available to them, because traditionally what their image of accountant is, you give your bank statements and box full of receipts, and they do your tax returns, as you correctly said, on a historic approach. So they don't know what they can expect from their accountants. What I do is if they are a startup, I hear them out what their idea is. Sometimes they don't even know what their potential is of their service or the product they have developed. So I kind of give them idea of, what is the full potential, whether it's limited to UK or it can go international, and how. So I kind of, work on their mindset to see the bigger picture and not something really small. Then I work with them and say, what is your next 12 months target or next 5 years target? And I also talk about their exit strategy before they even started, because then what is very important is get the right business structure in place. If they're going to raise any finance, or they're going to use their own money, how many other people will be joining, what's the plan? So we put everything over the next 5 years and break it down onto annual basis. And then I give them quarterly targets. So we sit down together and see what's realistically achievable in the next 3 months. Yeah, and every 3 months we meet and see, okay, what was the projected and what's actual happened? If something didn't happen, why it didn't happen, what support you require, and then we kind of keep updating. So what happens, most business people or business owners are having the plan, but then when they go into day-to-day life, it becomes really busy and they forget about looking at the projected stuff, because it is natural. I mean, I don't blame them. But when they have someone like us who will be meeting them every quarter, I mean, some clients we have every weekly catch up, some we have a monthly, depending on what the requirement is. So because they feel they're accountable, it kind of pushes them to achieve that, and that kind of does our job, because we really want them to achieve what they want to and what their goals are.
Yeah.
So it is very, very important.
Yeah, you're talking our language. I mean, as action coach, that's exactly what we do. We hold business owners accountable. We encourage them. In fact, we we work with them to develop that plan and to put the steps in place to deliver that. So you saying that is music to my ears. So that you're speaking to a like-minded individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, I mean, this is the personal experience. Like when we get these startups coming, they don't know what help is available from them from government, like SEIS scheme or EIS scheme, R&D tax credits. They just simply don't know. And I really, it kind of motivates me more and more to reach out to these startups, who has that vision, and they have like a lot of people are stuck in their job and they don't, they have ideas, but they could never pursue it because of the fear. And that's how we all been conditioned. But, the people who have that courage, or they've overcome those fears to do the startup, I think if everyone knew what help was available, like SEIS, EIS, and R&D and other reliefs, it would probably give them a boost, like, what, we can do this.
Yeah.
So I really want everyone to have that one opportunity to work on their dream or their idea, when we were growing up as a child, like this is what I want to do. Yeah. So that's what I'm personally aiming at.
Yeah, we have an expression which is business owners should wear capes, not chains.
Yes.
So when you haven't got a plan, when you haven't got the right steps in place, when you haven't got the right support around you, when you haven't got someone to bounce off, you have chains, and you end up working ridiculously long hours, not generating the profits that you want for the business, not realizing your dream.
Yes.
So it's great to see that you're doing something that's going to help them really, really get on that track. So your business, let's come back to you. Your business, how's the growth been? Has it been like slow and steady? Have you seen, is there a hockey stick to your business model? How's it been?
I think it's been a mix of things. Like when we started the R&D, so originally I was just doing R&D and doing the mixed tax because I worked as a mixed tax, senior at my last jobs. So I don't look at just corporation tax, or I don't look at just personal tax, but I look at overall picture. So, what the savings you're making is overall, but then R&D was something really booming back in those days. I mean, it's still equally lucrative benefit for the, companies.
Yeah.
So we used to exhibit. I used to do a lot of networking. And so I do that for a few months, and then we will have a number of clients, and then we just go back and do all the work, make their claims, get their cash in, and then go out again. So we were managing the number of clients we take based on the resources we had. And because R&D has always been my specialty, I had to look at what time I have available to do it. And I was a startup. The cash flow wasn't that great enough to hire somebody to do the R&D tax credits. And I really enjoyed doing it, asking client all the questions and making sure, everything's done. And we've used all the strategies and planning points to optimize the relief. And I love that process. So I was doing that. But what happened is when we get all these startups, they don't even have accountants. So they would then ask, like, could you do the accounts? And it actually made sense, because if they had accountants, even though we prepared the claim, the accounts are not ready, and client had to wait for like a month or two sometimes to get the claim in, because it can only go with the CT return. So when they asked us, like, can we do their accounts? And it worked perfect, because, one of our team would do the accounts, we do the claim, and it can just be done within a week. Yeah. As opposed to wait for 2 weeks. So the compliance just grew organically. Then, we haven't done any digital media marketing, but mostly is networking and referrals from client, because when client worked with us, they liked our service so much. They say they tell me that they feel scared to ask a question to an accountant, but after talking to me, they feel I'm very approachable. And, so all those things, it become friendly relationship, yet the professionalism is still there. Yeah. So it's growing, and now we are looking at scaling the accounting work, but it's not just the accounting, it's the advisory, the value we would like to add. That's the main purpose of having this business.
Okay, so do you believe that you're on track for your growth plans then?
To a certain extent, yes. Recently we've been awarded by SME News for Best Corporate and Personal Tax Planning Firm. In November, we are exhibiting at London Excel at the business show. So, they're expecting about 30,000 attendees visiting the show over 2 days. So, we kind of do this. We have a number of clients, and then we make sure that they are receiving all the service we want them to receive, before we kind of grow further, because I have seen with businesses, and in early days that has happened, like you get so many clients, but then you don't have right resources and it kind of hits your reputation. And what I believe is the communication is the king in accounting, because clients don't know whether you posted the entry in a correct ledger, right? They are not accountants. What they really want to know is be assured at all the time that things are in control. And that's what we are really focusing on, that client needs to have constant assurance that all their taxes and all their finances are in control. And we identify problem beforehand, because we always do projections. We look at what's happening in the market and we regularly check things with them. And if there is anything, we always try to have some contingency beforehand. And mostly it's with the cash flow. So, we suggest them to get invoice factoring, or, get an overdraft, or, any way we can get them some finance. So it happens like 2-3 months before the event actually happens. So you're always ready for it.
Right. Okay. So very much a proactive approach towards clients, and that is fueling your growth. So what's been as a business owner, what's been your biggest lesson over the last few years?
It's slightly non-commercial learning, but what I realized is yes, we want to do business and we want to make money. I think ultimately everyone runs the business to get the money. But my personal experience has been every time when business, in the early days when I was, we have a cash flow cash flow crunch. You meet a new potential client, you give them a proposal, and your focus is into the money you're going to be making, because that's the cash you're going to need. And all those proposals I sent where my focus was money, I did not get them as my clients.
Right.
But when I was doing a proposal, when I had communicated with them, and I'm so much excited about delivering what I have, my value and my skills and expertise, every single one of them got turned as client. So, they say, like, you focus in what you are giving, then what you are getting back.
That's a really great lesson. That's a really great lesson. Being focused, laser focused on your customer needs and requirements as opposed to your desires.
Is
a brilliant way of developing a business, because you're coming from the right place. Your clients know you're coming from the right place.
Absolutely. And since then, I've let go of the focus on what we are getting, focus. And I think I get enormous amount of pleasure when I do something and that smile on client's face, like, oh, well done. So that is my earning.
Is that the thing that makes you jump out of bed in the morning?
That
inspires you to do what you do. Perfect. I mean, that's having that focus on client satisfaction, client results is not usual in a lot of, or outwardly usual in a lot of professional services. There's when you just speak to some businesses, it's a necessary evil. It's not the thing that they look forward to doing. And I'm sure actually your interactions with your clients means that they're getting positive results, and they're in a positive, supportive environment, which is
yes. And I think I was talking to somebody earlier this week, is when I start work with clients, we talking about numbers and strategies and everything, and then we talk about some, I wouldn't say personal, but like, these things like focus on your own gift. So it's kind of working with their mindset, what they really want to do. Everyone has that one thing that they are really, really good at, and they should give their 100%. So when they say, oh, Pratik, we tried this and it didn't work. And I said, look, what works and not, it's not in your control. So we shouldn't feel bad about it. Are you convinced that you gave your 100%? That's all we can do. We can only do what's in our control. So we shouldn't have any guilty about it, because we gave our 100%. And if something's not happening the way we want, but that's not in our control, so we just have to let it go. That's not our problem. But then, something, I think it's just with your mindset. Once you're so positive, and when you're so much anticipating, but you're not attached to the outcome, it just starts to manifest the results you want. I mean, I've had a client getting the right team members with that strategy. It really helps.
No, it really, really does. I mean, when you look at that's coming on to your challenges, actually. When you look at most challenges in business, they're around time, team, and money.
Yes.
Are they focused on the right things? Are they making the most of their time? Do they have the right team in place to deliver the product for the customer, or the vision of the business? And money, is there enough cash in the business? What are the challenges that you have in front of you at the moment?
I mean, staff is something ongoing challenge. And what we've done, I mean, early days, we started with having really good team members. Okay. But then they had one person we started with, and it was just text work we were doing. But, for personal reasons, she had to leave. And then we tried to recruit, but then, you find people, but we need someone who believes in your vision. They want to deliver the way you want, which is the hardest challenge. But what I've learned there is, instead of managing your staff, I started mentoring them. And that really shifted everything. So now we have a team of 6 people, 6+3, and we don't manage. We don't manage anybody. Everyone knows what they have to do, and we just help them and we mentor them. And over the 6 to 10 months, they become another person. They become more like how we wanted them to be in the first place. Yeah. Because otherwise, you just end up keep changing the staff, and you have to start from scratch. And like small companies like us, we don't have time to train. But what we can do is we can mentor. So we hire people who have some experience, but then we mentor them to kind of fit in with what Birdfynn accountants would like to deliver to their clients.
Yeah, perfect. It's it's a classic challenge, bringing new employees up to the standards that you expect.
Yeah.
So you call it mentoring. We could also call it a coaching approach.
Yeah.
We're asking them the right questions. We're showing them how to do something, but we ask them the questions to help them deliver it.
Yeah.
And it's an intriguing mindset, because I think the way that it was used to be done was a manager be put in place with the carrot and the stick.
Yeah.
And those systems, they don't work in the modern working environment. And it sounds like you've taken that approach, and that's far more progressive and far more efficient approach, actually.
One more thing I learned in hiring process is always look for personality and not skills, because skills can be learned, but personality you cannot change. So it's very important that they fit in with your culture, and they are more adaptable to your things. And because accountancy is changing, like the technology is coming, and very soon the AI will be doing a lot of things, and how we can adapt all those things. So we need that kind of mindset who's driven and passionate. And that's what I would tell all the startups who will be watching this interview. Like, don't go. I mean, yes, at one point you do look for skills, but I think the personality is extremely important.
Okay, so that's some of the challenges that you've been given. Let's talk about the advice that you give to another business. If you were 18 years old, or sorry, if you met your 18-year-old self, what would you tell them right now? But what a piece of advice, what gem would you give them?
Gosh, I would say follow your heart. And there is no such thing as fear. It just sits in your mind. Okay. Yes. And, anticipating the outcome, either it works or doesn't work, it's 50-50. So, and it's in your control what percentage you give. So give success 100%. If it fails, it fails. It's okay. You can still deal with it. But why start? What is in your control is to think what's going to happen. So be positive about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. You learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
And we use an expression about fear is false expectations appearing real.
Yeah.
It's not a tangible thing. It prevents you from taking those necessary steps. Yes. And let's face it, and I'm sure you'd share this, as a business owner, you're going to make mistakes, right?
Absolutely. I think that's learning. I mean, I still learn, and that's what I call it. When I talk to a team and we share everything, we're very transparent on what's happening, what good happened, what bad happened, right? Yeah. And I say there is nothing bad. There is either you're celebrating a success or you've learned something. Yeah. So I said last week we learned something in a client meeting. So that's what, that's how I address it. So there is no such thing as failure, or there is no such thing as mistakes. It's all learning.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. Unless you make the same mistake twice. In which
yes, that's
the learnings are slightly different. So, a couple more questions before we finish.
Sure.
So, what plans have you got that you'd like to share?
In terms of future plan, yes, we are growing steady. In near future, we may think of acquiring another practice, just so that we have some more resources, and then it will allow us to kind of reach out to more people and help. But at the same time, it is like, because what we do is quite rare. I mean, I'm not saying we are the only one. There might be other accountancy firm delivering the same value and things. But in my experience, there is a huge opportunity, or there are so many people are losing out on opportunity because they don't know what they don't know, So to educate them and reach out to them and help. But yeah, I mean, scale the business to the limit where the quality is not compromised.
Yes.
And your values are still being communicated with clients, and you're able to deliver what I decided on the day one when I started the company.
Right.
So I haven't put a limit to where we want to stop our growth. It's an ongoing process. But the condition is that what we thought on a day one, this is what my client needs to experience. Are we able to sustain that? Yes, keep on growing. If not, then just stay where you are.
Okay.
Because we're not going to take anything with us, when we leave this earth and say goodbye. So do your best and, just give your 100%.
That's great advice. So what the future looks like for you at the moment, I can talk about personal perspective, but actually I can talk about a business perspective, but on a personal perspective, as a business owner, you started this business, you're growing, you've got integrity about what you do, you have a different approach. What about what you get out of this at the end of the day? Where do you see yourself in 5 or 10 years' time?
There are a couple of options I've thought of. I feel I would still be part of the business in the next 5 to 10 years' time. But and this is something I tell my clients as well. Like, I'm no financial advisor. I'm not IFA. I'm not a regulated financial advisor. But I would say when you're earning money, you should invest into something which gives you passive income, who takes care of your bills, which means then you're allowed to do the work you always dreamed of. Right. So you don't really have to work for money. You work for yourself. So it becomes enjoyment. Even if you have a hobby of painting, just do that because your bills are taken care of. Right. So you give yourself that 5 years of life where you make the most of the money, live like you're very poor, but then invest money into right assets, where you can get a monthly income and you can pay your bills. I think that's your own retirement planning, but it's not really retiring. You're retiring from something which you don't really enjoy. And you're not really working for money. You live for yourself, not living for money. I think that's the very personal message I would like to share, and that's the path I'm on.
Yeah, it sounds it. It's inspirational. I've got to say, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for time. We wish you continued success with your business. Really want to keep in contact, see how your business is developing. I'm sure there'll be businesses that want to contact you having watched this video. They'll find your details on the in the video description. But would you like to say how they can get in contact with you? Is there a website or?
Yes, the website is Birdfynn, birdfynn.co.uk. They can reach out to me on there. We are also on a social media, but I think website will be easy. You can get our phone number and get in touch. And yes, thank you very much. It was really wonderful interview. I think some of the things which I was able to discuss and we both discussed is something I wasn't expecting. I was actually thinking of very professional corporate-y style interview, but it was quite informal, and I could open up to certain things which I didn't think I would open up. So thank you very much for making me feel that comfortable. It was really good conversations.
It's a real pleasure. And I have to say, one of the reasons why the conversation turned out that way was your positive attitude and your different take on what you provide. So it's been a real pleasure. No doubt we'll be keeping in contact.
Definitely.
And thank you. Have a great day, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you. You too. Have a wonderful day.